Life is not designed to revolve around your desires, needs, or expectations. This reality might sound harsh, but it is a truth that liberates rather than confines. Too often we are trapped by the illusion that the world owes us something, a break, recognition, or opportunities. But the truth is, it doesn't. Understanding this fact is not about fostering resentment or bitterness. It's about freeing yourself from misplaced expectations and empowering yourself to take charge of your own destiny. From an early age, we're often conditioned to believe that hard work alone will earn us acknowledgement, or that others will naturally see and appreciate our worth. While hard work is undoubtedly a crucial ingredient for success, waiting for someone else to validate your efforts or hand you opportunities is a trap that leads to frustration and stagnation. The world is busy. People are busy. Everyone is preoccupied with their own challenges, goals, and dreams. Your struggles, while significant to you, are not the center of anyone else's universe. This realization isn't meant to diminish your value or your challenges, but to illuminate the truth that you must be your own advocate, your own cheerleader, and your own problem solver. When you stop expecting others to care in the way you want them to, you release yourself from disappointment and gain clarity about what truly matters, your ability to care for yourself and act on your own behalf. The belief that the world owes you something is not only limiting but also disempowering. It keeps you in a mindset of waiting for someone to notice your efforts, for opportunities to present themselves, or for life to suddenly become easier. But waiting is passive. Growth, success, and fulfillment demand action. The first step is acknowledging that your life is your responsibility. It's a realization that shifts the focus from external forces to internal resolve. Instead of asking, why isn't anyone helping me? Or why isn't this happening for me? You start asking, what can I do to move forward? Or how can I create opportunities for myself? This mindset shift is not just about survival, it's about thriving. When you stop depending on others to care in ways they simply can't, you begin to reclaim your power. You learn to rely on your strengths, trust your instincts, and develop resilience. You become proactive rather than reactive. You stop waiting for external permission to pursue your dreams and start giving yourself the green light. While it's true that some people in your life care deeply about you, your family, close friends, or mentors, their care has limits. They can offer support, encouragement, and guidance, but they cannot do the work for you. They cannot carry your burdens or walk your path. Recognizing this is not about diminishing their role in your life, but about understanding that their care is a supplement, not the foundation of your journey. The foundation must be built by you, brick by brick, through your own efforts, decisions, and persistence. Understanding that the world doesn't owe you anything also helps you develop a sense of gratitude and humility. When you stop expecting life to hand you what you think you deserve, you start to appreciate what you already have and what you can achieve through your own efforts. You become less entitled and more empowered. Instead of feeling wronged by what you lack, you feel motivated to earn what you desire. This perspective fosters resilience. Life will undoubtedly present challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. When you accept that no one is obligated to make things easier for you, you stop wasting energy on frustration or blame. Instead, you channel that energy into finding solutions and pushing through obstacles. You understand that setbacks are not personal attacks, but opportunities to learn and grow stronger. Moreover, embracing this reality sharpens your focus and clarifies your priorities, sir. When you let go of the expectation that others will care or intervene, you begin to focus on what truly matters to you. You become more intentional with your time, energy, and efforts. You stop chasing validation and start pursuing goals that align with your values and aspirations. This shift in mindset is not easy. It requires honesty, courage, and self-discipline. It means confronting the ways you may have been holding yourself back by waiting for external support or acknowledgement. But the rewards are immense. You gain a sense of control over your life. You realize that while you can't control others or the circumstances around you, you can always control your response, your attitude, and your actions. In the end, understanding that the world doesn't owe you anything is not about fostering isolation or self-centeredness. It's about embracing your autonomy and recognizing your own capacity to shape your life. It's about stepping into the driver's seat and taking ownership of your journey. When you stop expecting the world to care and start caring for yourself, you unlock a wellspring of inner strength and potential that can carry you further than you ever imagined. Your happiness and success are your responsibility. This statement is more than just a truth. It's a powerful reminder that the life you want is in your hands. Too often, people fall into the trap of believing that their happiness depends on others, whether it's a partner, family, friends, or even society at large. They wait for circumstances to change, for opportunities to fall into their laps, or for someone to come along and solve their problems. But the reality is, no one else can live your life for you. If you want happiness and success, you have to take full ownership of them. Happiness is not a gift that can be handed to you. It's a state of being that you cultivate through your choices, mindset, and actions. You cannot outsource your happiness to others because doing so puts you in a position of dependence and vulnerability. What happens if that person disappoints you? What happens if circumstances change? Your sense of well-being crumbles, leaving you feeling powerless. But when you take responsibility for your happiness, you reclaim your power. You recognize that while external factors can influence your emotions, they do not control them. You have the ability to find joy, peace, and contentment within yourself, regardless of what's happening around you. Success operates under the same principle. It's not something that is bestowed upon you. It's something you achieve through effort, perseverance, and self-discipline. There's no shortcut, no magic formula, and no guaranteed path. It requires you to take responsibility for your actions, decisions, and the outcomes they produce. Blaming others or external circumstances for your lack of progress only keeps you stuck. Instead, taking ownership of your goals allows you to identify what you can do differently, what you need to improve, and how you can move forward. Taking responsibility for your happiness and success doesn't mean that life will be free of challenges or that you have to do everything alone. It means recognizing that no matter what obstacles you face, you are the one who determines how you respond. Challenges are inevitable. They are part of the human experience. But how you choose to approach them defines whether they become roadblocks or stepping stones. For example, think about someone facing a financial setback. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and defeated, to blame circumstances or other people for the situation. But what if instead they took ownership of the problem? What if they asked themselves, what steps can I take to improve this situation? What lessons can I learn from this experience? By shifting the focus to what they can control, they begin to see opportunities for growth and improvement. They might decide to learn new skills, seek better job opportunities, or develop a stronger financial plan. The setback becomes a catalyst for growth rather than a source of despair. Happiness works in a similar way. Many people believe that they'll be happy once they achieve a certain milestone, landing a dream job, finding the right partner, buying a house. But happiness is not a destination, it's a way of living. When you take responsibility for your happiness, you stop tying it to external achievements and start finding joy in the present moment. You learn to appreciate what you have while still striving for more. You focus on gratitude, personal growth, and the relationships that truly matter. Another important aspect of taking responsibility is letting go of excuses. Excuses are comforting because they shift blame away from you, but they also rob you of your power. If your happiness and success are always someone else's fault, then you have no control over your life. But when you accept responsibility, you realize that you have the ability to change your circumstances. It might not be easy, and it might take time, but the power to improve your life lies within you. This mindset also requires self-awareness and honesty. You have to be willing to look at yourself objectively, to acknowledge where you've fallen short and where you can do better. This is not about self-criticism or guilt, it's about growth. Taking responsibility for your happiness and success means being proactive, setting goals, and holding yourself accountable. It means asking, what can I do today to move closer to the life I want? Lastly, when you take ownership of your happiness and success, you inspire others to do the same. Your actions demonstrate the power of self-reliance and determination. You show that it's possible to overcome challenges, to achieve goals, and to live a fulfilling life, not because someone else made it happen, but because you chose to make it happen. The truth is, no one else can care about your happiness and success as much as you do. It's your life, your journey, and your legacy. When you take full responsibility, you not only create a better future for yourself, but also become a source of strength and inspiration for those around you. Happiness and success are not destinations someone else can guide you to. They are paths you carve out for yourself, one step at a time. Expecting others to prioritize your needs as much as you do is a common pitfall. The truth is, everyone is preoccupied with their own lives, challenges, and ambitions. This isn't selfishness, it's just reality. People are inherently focused on their own paths, and while they may care about you, they will rarely prioritize your needs above their own. Understanding this is not about fostering bitterness, but about adjusting your expectations and taking ownership of your journey. Imagine waiting for someone to notice your hard work and hand you the recognition you think you deserve. The waiting game can lead to frustration, disappointment, and resentment. This is because you're relying on external validation to confirm your worth. But if everyone is busy managing their own lives, waiting for them to shine a spotlight on you is futile. Instead, the solution is to step up and advocate for yourself. If you've achieved something, don't hesitate to share it. If you need support, ask for it. If you want to advance, take action to make it happen. No one will care about your goals as much as you do, and that's perfectly okay. This understanding doesn't mean people are unkind or indifferent. Many people care deeply about you and want the best for you, but their ability to act on your behalf is limited. They have their own priorities, responsibilities, and challenges. For example, a mentor might guide you and offer advice, but they can't walk your path for you. A loved one might support your dreams, but they cannot do the work needed to achieve them. Once you accept this, you free yourself from unrealistic expectations and take back control of your own life. Prioritizing yourself doesn't mean disregarding others or becoming self-centered. It means recognizing that your journey is unique and that you are the one responsible for steering it in the right direction. It's about finding a balance between valuing the relationships and support systems in your life and understanding that no one else will be as invested in your success as you are. This perspective allows you to take initiative and become the driving force behind your progress. For example, think of someone working toward a fitness goal. They might rely on a trainer or a workout buddy for motivation, but at the end of the day, it's up to them to show up, put in the effort, and stick to their plan. The trainer can guide them, and the friend can cheer them on, but the individual has to take responsibility for their commitment. No one else can do the push-ups, lift the weights, or make the dietary changes for them. The same principle applies to all aspects of life, whether it's career advancement, personal growth, or building meaningful relationships. Taking ownership of your priorities also means becoming proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting for someone to notice your struggles or extend a helping hand, you learn to identify your own needs and address them. If you're overwhelmed at work, communicate your challenges and seek solutions. If you're pursuing a passion, dedicate time and effort to it without waiting for external encouragement. When you understand that no one else will prioritize your dreams as much as you do, you become empowered to take action on your own terms. This mindset also shifts the way you interact with others. When you no longer expect people to put your needs ahead of their own, you begin to appreciate the support and encouragement they do provide. Gratitude replaces entitlement, and your relationships become healthier and more balanced. You stop resenting others for not doing enough and start valuing them for the role they play in your life. Moreover, this perspective helps you set boundaries. You learn to protect your time, energy, and resources because you understand that they are your most valuable assets. When you take responsibility for your priorities, you stop saying yes to things that don't align with your goals simply to please others. You recognize that prioritizing yourself is not selfish, it's essential for your growth and well-being. Finally, embracing this truth helps you build resilience. Life is full of challenges, and there will be times when you feel unsupported or overlooked. Instead of being discouraged, you'll remember that it's not anyone else's job to prioritize your needs, it's yours. This realization pushes you to keep moving forward, even when the road is tough. You become your own source of motivation and your own advocate, and in doing so, you build the strength and independence needed to achieve your goals. Understanding that others won't prioritize your needs as you do is a liberating truth. It doesn't mean people don't care about you, it means they are human, just like you, with their own lives to navigate. By accepting this, you reclaim the power to take charge of your journey. You stop waiting for others to pave the way and start building your own path. This shift in mindset transforms you from a passive participant in your life to an active creator of your destiny. And that is where true empowerment lies. Relying on others to make you happy is a dangerous habit that robs you of the power to control your own joy. When you depend on external factors, people, circumstances, or material possessions to bring you happiness, you place your well-being in the hands of things you cannot control. This creates a fragile foundation for emotional stability and leaves you vulnerable to disappointment. True happiness comes from within, and it is something you cultivate by understanding yourself, taking ownership of your emotions, and finding contentment in your own growth and experiences. Imagine putting the weight of your happiness on someone else's shoulders. Whether it's a friend, partner, or family member, you're expecting them to meet your needs, understand your emotions, and always act in ways that align with your expectations. But people are human, they have their own struggles, flaws, and limitations. Even with the best intentions, They cannot always fulfill your emotional needs, and when they don't, it can lead to resentment or feelings of inadequacy. This isn't fair to them, and it's not fair to you. Similarly, relying on circumstances to dictate your happiness is equally unstable. Life is unpredictable, and setbacks are inevitable. If your happiness depends on getting a promotion, buying a bigger house, or achieving a specific milestone, what happens when things don't go as planned? You find yourself trapped in a cycle of disappointment, constantly chasing an ideal that feels just out of reach. Even when you achieve those goals, the satisfaction is often temporary because you've trained your mind to associate happiness with external achievements rather than internal fulfillment. Taking responsibility for your own happiness is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It starts with understanding that happiness is a choice, not a result. It's about shifting your mindset from, "I'll be happy when," to, "I choose to be happy now." This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending that everything is perfect. It means finding moments of joy and gratitude in the present, even when life isn't exactly as you'd like it to be. Cultivating happiness from within requires self-awareness and self-care. Spend time understanding what truly brings you joy, not what society tells you should make you happy, but what genuinely lights up your soul. For some, it might be creative expression or helping others. For others, it might be learning new skills, spending time in nature, or simply enjoying quiet moments of reflection. The key is to identify what fulfills you and make it a priority in your life. Gratitude plays a crucial role in this process. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift your perspective. Instead of feeling that happiness is something you're waiting for, you start to recognize the abundance already present in your life. This doesn't mean you shouldn't strive for more, but it creates a foundation of contentment that isn't dependent on external achievements or validation. Another important aspect of taking ownership of your happiness is setting boundaries. When you rely on others to make you happy, you may find yourself compromising your own needs or values to please them. This leads to frustration and feelings of unfulfillment. By setting healthy boundaries, you protect your emotional well-being and ensure that your relationships are built on mutual respect rather than dependency. Building emotional resilience is also essential. Life will throw challenges your way, and there will be times when happiness feels out of reach. In these moments, remind yourself that emotions are temporary and that you have the strength to navigate difficult times. Practice mindfulness meditation or other techniques that help you stay grounded and focused on the present. These tools empower you to process negative emotions without letting them consume you. Another way to nurture happiness is through acts of self-love and kindness. Treat yourself with the same compassion and care you would offer a loved one. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and forgive yourself for mistakes. The more you practice self-love, the less you rely on external sources for validation. Relying on yourself for happiness doesn't mean isolating yourself from others or rejecting their support. It means approaching relationships from a place of abundance rather than lack. When you are responsible for your own happiness, you bring your best self into your connections with others. You're able to enjoy their presence and support without feeling dependent on them for your emotional well-being. Finally, remember that happiness is a journey, not a destination. It's a daily practice that requires effort and intention. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep choosing to prioritize your happiness and take responsibility for it. By doing so, you create a life that isn't just about surviving but thriving, one that is filled with meaning, purpose, and genuine joy. The habit of always making excuses is a silent thief of growth, opportunity, and self-respect. Excuses are often a defense mechanism to protect ourselves from discomfort, accountability, or the fear of failure. However, the more we rely on excuses, the more we limit our potential and undermine our ability to achieve greatness. Breaking free from this habit is a powerful step toward personal and professional success, and it begins with a deep and honest look at how excuses operate in our lives. When you make excuses, you are essentially giving yourself permission to remain in your comfort zone. Excuses justify why you haven't started a project, taken a risk, or pursued a goal. They create an illusion of safety, allowing you to avoid challenges or the possibility of failure. While this may feel reassuring in the moment, it comes at the cost of progress. Each excuse you make builds a barrier between you and the life you want to lead. Over time, those barriers grow taller, making it harder to overcome the inertia of inaction. Excuses also erode your credibility, both with yourself and with others. When you constantly rationalize why you haven't done something, you send a message that you're not reliable or committed. People may stop believing in your word, your intentions, and more importantly, you may stop believing in yourself. Every unfulfilled promise or abandoned goal chips away at your self-confidence, leaving you feeling powerless and stuck. The more you excuse yourself from taking action, the harder it becomes to trust in your own capabilities. Breaking the cycle of excuses starts with accountability. You need to take responsibility for your actions, decisions, and outcomes. This doesn't mean blaming yourself harshly for every misstep, but it does mean owning your role in your life's direction. When you stop blaming external factors, whether it's time, circumstances, or other people, you reclaim control over your destiny. Accountability shifts your focus from what you can't control to what you can, empowering you to make meaningful changes. One of the most common excuses people make is, I don't have time. While time is a finite resource, how you allocate it reflects your priorities. If something truly matters to you, you'll find a way to make time for it. This might mean waking up earlier, cutting down on distractions, or saying no to less important commitments. The key is to be honest about what's really standing in your way. Often it's not a lack of time, but a lack of clarity or motivation. When you stop using time as an excuse, you begin to discover ways to work smarter and more intentionally. Another frequent excuse is, I'm not ready. This is a way of postponing action out of fear or self-doubt. The truth is, you'll never feel completely ready for big challenges or changes. Growth happens when you step into the unknown, even if you feel unprepared. Waiting for the perfect moment often means waiting forever, because perfection doesn't exist. The sooner you embrace the idea that progress is better than perfection, the sooner you can start building momentum toward your goals. Excuses can also stem from comparing yourself to others. You might think, I'm not as talented, skilled, or experienced as they are, so why bother trying? This mindset is paralyzing and unfair to yourself. Everyone's journey is unique, and comparing your starting point to someone else's middle or end serves no purpose. Instead of making excuses based on comparisons, focus on your own growth and potential. Celebrate small victories and recognize that progress is personal, not competitive. To overcome the habit of making excuses, start by changing your internal dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking of a reason not to act, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is it an excuse? More often than not, you'll find that the obstacle you're imagining is smaller than it seems. By reframing your thoughts, you can shift from a mindset of limitation to one of possibility. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, how can I make this happen? Another powerful strategy is to set clear goals and break them into actionable steps. Excuses often thrive in ambiguity. When your goals are vague, it's easy to justify not working toward them. But when you have a specific plan, each step becomes manageable and less intimidating. For example, instead of saying, I want to write a book someday, commit to writing 500 words a day. The clearer your goals and actions, the harder it is to make excuses. It's also helpful to surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Excuses can be contagious in an environment where others are also avoiding responsibility. Conversely, being around driven, accountable individuals can inspire you to hold yourself to higher standards. Seek out mentors, friends, or communities that encourage action and celebrate effort. Their influence can help you replace excuses with determination and perseverance. Finally, practice self-compassion as you work to break free from this habit. Overcoming excuses doesn't mean being perfect or never falling short. It's about recognizing when you're making an excuse, learning from it, and choosing a different path next time. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and remind yourself that growth is a journey. Each step you take away from excuses is a step toward a life of purpose, fulfillment, and respect. Constantly seeking approval from others can quietly undermine your self-worth, decision-making, and overall happiness. When you live for the validation of others, you hand over control of your life to their opinions and expectations. This habit might feel rewarding in the short term. Praise or acknowledgement can bring a temporary sense of fulfillment, but over time, it erodes your ability to trust yourself and pursue what truly matters to you. To live authentically and confidently, you must break free from this approval-seeking cycle and learn to anchor your worth in who you are, not in how others perceive you. The need for approval often stems from a natural desire to connect with others. As social beings, we value relationships and want to feel accepted. However, this can become unhealthy when the need to fit in or be liked takes precedence over your own values, goals, and identity. For instance, you might say yes to things you don't want to do, or hold back on sharing your true thoughts out of fear of rejection. While this might please others, it leaves you feeling disconnected from yourself, as though you're living someone else's life rather than your own. One of the dangers of seeking approval is that it often leads to a loss of authenticity. When you prioritize others' opinions, you start shaping your actions, decisions, and even personality to match what you think they want. Over time, This creates a false version of yourself that you present to the world, a version based not on who you are, but on who you think you need to be. The problem is, even when people praise or accept this version, it doesn't feel fulfilling because deep down, you know it's not the real you. Authenticity is the foundation of true confidence and respect, both for yourself and from others. Another consequence of approval seeking is that it makes you overly dependent on external validation for your sense of worth. Instead of feeling secure in your own abilities, values, or accomplishments, you rely on others to affirm your choices or achievements. This creates a fragile sense of self-esteem that fluctuates based on how much praise or criticism you receive. When people approve of you, you feel good. When they don't, your confidence crumbles. This is an exhausting way to live, as it keeps you constantly chasing external validation rather than cultivating internal self-assurance. Breaking free from the need for approval requires a shift in mindset. It starts with recognizing that no one's opinion matters more than your own when it comes to your life. Others can offer perspectives, but only you truly understand your dreams, values, and circumstances. Trusting yourself means giving yourself permission to make decisions that align with your goals, even if they go against others' expectations or judgments. Learning to set boundaries is an essential part of this process. When you're driven by the need for approval, you're more likely to overcommit, people please, or neglect your own needs to satisfy others. Boundaries help you protect your time, energy, and priorities. They allow you to say no without guilt and to focus on what truly matters to you. Setting boundaries doesn't mean shutting others out. It means creating a healthy balance between giving and receiving while staying true to yourself. Cultivating self-awareness is another powerful tool. Pay attention to the moments when you feel compelled to seek approval. What triggers these feelings? Is it a fear of rejection, a desire to impress, or a habit of second-guessing yourself? Understanding these patterns helps you identify when you're acting out of a need for validation rather than genuine intention. With this awareness, you can choose to act differently, prioritizing authenticity over approval. Practicing self-validation is equally important. Instead of looking outward for praise, learn to acknowledge your own efforts and accomplishments. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small, and remind yourself of your strengths and values. Journaling, affirmations, or simply taking a moment to reflect on what you're proud of can reinforce your sense of self-worth. The more you validate yourself, the less you'll rely on others to do it for you. It's also important to recognize that not everyone will approve of you, and that's okay. Trying to please everyone is a losing battle because people's opinions are subjective and often based on their own experiences, biases, and expectations. What matters is that you stay true to yourself and surround yourself with people who appreciate you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. Overcoming the habit of seeking approval doesn't mean ignoring feedback or isolating yourself from others. Constructive feedback can be valuable, and healthy relationships involve mutual respect and understanding. However, the key is to approach these interactions from a place of confidence rather than insecurity. When you know your worth, you can listen to others' input without letting it define you. Finally, remember that this journey is a process, not an overnight transformation. Breaking free from approval seeking takes time, effort, and practice. Be patient with yourself as you unlearn old habits and build new ones. Each step you take towards self-reliance and authenticity brings you closer to a life of greater freedom, fulfillment, and respect. By valuing yourself first, you set the foundation for a life that reflects your true potential and purpose.